Hello and welcome to That's the Point. This is the place where we have the audacious goal of talking about construction positioning technology. My name is Corey Meyer, joined here in studio by Jeremy Horn. How's it going, man?
Very good.
All right, we're away from the friendly confines of the desk today because we are going to jump back into some of these basics that we've kind of been revisiting over the past couple episodes. But we wanted to talk about arcs and circles and how to lay out complex line work with your total station or GNSS. And it's really, as we were discussing this topic, it really kind of became apparent that so many times contractors get into this technology because they have to do a really nasty layout job with a lot of turns, a lot of radiuses, and this really doesn't matter. I mean, we all say it, that when you use technology like this, complexity really becomes irrelevant. And what you're about to show works with GNSS and robotic total station layout. But we wanted to talk about just some of the basic ways that you can lay out to a circle or an arc using FieldLink.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so let's jump into it. So as Jeremy gets ready, and we actually have it standing here, Jeremy actually has a total station set up right off camera with a simple setup done. And as we look into FieldLink, you've actually got a radius up on your view that we're actually going to do a little arc that we're going to lay out.
Yeah, absolutely. In this case, it's this little curbing here in this parking lot, which has a little arc there. But it could be a wall. If it's one of our framers who are laying out a wall, it could be that as well. Workflow is going to be the same. So if you see my total station here set up, got a little fake setup, and the bullseye, of course, is where I'm standing. So we see that moving. So to get to our layout arc, very simple. FieldLink has made this very simple. The idea, as you mentioned, is complex things like arcs, calculations, and all that can be difficult. In this case, as long as we have the arc in the drawing, all we got to do is select it and lay it out. So circling back here, if we go to measure, layout, we've got our layout functions down here at the bottom, point, line, and then all the way to the right, easy to recognize the little arc there. So we want to select that. From here, we don't even need any points or anything created ahead of time. We just tap on that arc. So I'm going to tap on the arc, and you see there it's going to give me a line with some points along that arc.
And this is exactly what we covered in that previous episode with Gian about how we actually were able to easily create some points. This is kind of unpacking further when we're just talking about arcs, but this is going to look familiar to a lot of folks because we were able to go and create a bunch of interval points right there.
Right. So as soon as I select the line, it popped along there. And if you look to the right, I have my edit button that I can manipulate that. So if I select that here, you see it gives me the choice of the offset. So if I was putting in a wall and I needed to account for track line as opposed to finish, I could put in my offset here for my drywall. But in this case, we'll leave it at 0. Intervals at 1 foot, I can change that to whatever I need to be as well. So when I pop back over to the screen, you see my points every foot. Along the arc, I simply select the point that I want to lay out, and it's going to give me those forward, back directions just like it would when I'm laying out any other point. You'll see as I move close here, gives me the right to left, the forward. Once I get within my tolerance, it's going to give me the lovely green stake. And when I stake that, even though I didn't create a point initially in my drawing, once I stake it, it will save that as a staked point.
And it is the same type of point that you would have any other kind of stake out.
And then you can put a layout report, all that kind of fun stuff. So if we go back out of there, the other way, which was requested by many, is to just lay out that arc just from left to right like we would when we stake a line.
Be able to find that line.
Right. So from here, if we look up in the toolbar here that's giving me the directions over to the right, there's what looks like a cycle button. If I push that, it now will switch over to the mode where it's now just telling me my offset. So if you see here, it says offset 1 foot and 5 inches roughly, and it gives me that red line telling me which way I need to go. And as I get closer to my arc, that will tighten up, and then I can get that, right in.
And it's ignoring those preview points, and it's strictly giving you measurements or distances based off of the line.
Right. So now the points along there don't really matter. I can walk anywhere along that arc, and it's just going to get me where I need to be and tell me where that arc is related to where I'm standing. So, I kind of just stopped here randomly, and it's telling me, I'm 2 1/8 left of that arc, so I would need to move that back over.
It really is a powerful tool, though, if you're just trying to get out there, get a sense of where you are at a job site, doing some minor tempo work, stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's a much quicker way to go out rather than creating points on your own.
Absolutely.
All right, wow.
And as you mentioned earlier, this workflow is the same. We're using a total station today because we're inside. But yes, if you're doing curbing outside and underground, things like that, the GNSS workflow looks exactly the same.
And that's really the power of this, is that you're taking something that's remarkably complicated Some of us have done radius. I'm sure you've done radius calculations. Like, it's really not a fun way to spend the afternoon. This takes all the complexity out of it, and it's really kind of one of the best reasons for folks that haven't looked at technology like this to jump into it, is because these radius are so simple and intuitive to be able to lay out and to measure. So, and of course, if you have any questions, make sure to reach out to your local building point representative. They are there to help you. And don't forget, smash that subscribe button. Stay up to date with the latest tips, tricks, and pointers. Jeremy, thanks.
Yeah.
No desk today.
Nope.
No, we lived. All right.
All right.
Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on That's the Point.